Thanks, Catherine. We here at WNY are thrilled to announce the return of WNY's Pet of the Week segment. The leash has been taken over by the Horseheads Animal Shelter, so to speak. So we're joined now by Frank Rosblock and Mike. He's the dog handler. Mike Barger, excuse me. He's the dog handler for this little dog right here. But before we get into talking about Gracie here, we want to talk more about the Horseheads Animal Control Shelter. Frank, what is your organization?
Well, it's the current title for the shelter is the Horseheads Community Animal Shelter. Mm-hmm. For nearly 45 years prior to that, it was the Horseheads Animal Shelter, and it was a entity of the town of Horseheads. And I was actually the dog control officer for almost 40 years, and managed that shelter for that same period of time prior to that. But in about 2016, the town, under budgetary constraints, came to the realization that they needed to close the shelter. The Friends of the Horseheads Animal Shelter Incorporated, which was a non-profit organization, which was organized in 2008, wasn't going to see that. So they discussed the issue with the town of Horseheads, and the town of Horseheads was generous enough to allow us to stay there. So we're leasing the facility for $1. So we very much appreciate that from the town of Horseheads. So what we do there, different than what it was before in the past, it's pretty much an animal shelter where we take in owner surrender dogs and try to find them forever homes. There are instances, as with Gracie here, even though I was going to let Mike introduce her, she came from the Elmira Animal Shelter. So we do at times, there seems to be more often lately, take dogs from other shelters, other dog control officers, other rescues, because the problem, believe it or not, is still very much a problem in this area and across the nation, actually, with overpopulation. I thought it was getting better back in the mid 2015, 14, around that area, but no, it's still a problem. It seems to be a problem since COVID, where a lot of people got dogs and realized they went back to work, or that wasn't that much fun on a dog, so they surrendered to an animal shelter.
Yeah,
so,
well, no matter the circumstance, seems like you guys still are thriving and have plenty of dogs that you need to find homes for. And Gracie here is absolutely obsessed with you, Mike. You're the handler for all the dogs of the organization. Why don't you tell us about it?
So Gracie is a 3-year-old boxer mix. She is the lovingest dog you can see. She knows most of her commands, but now, of course, she knows the camera's on, so she's going to be all lovey. She's great with other dogs. We don't know about younger kids, but we would obviously test that before we let anybody adopt her. She knows most of her basic commands: sit down, stay, come. She walks beautifully on the leash, nice and loose leash. She'll stay with you. She likes to look up at the owner, so she would be perfect for anybody who loves hiking. She loves car rides.
Yeah,
she just loves being loved.
She seems like a very active dog. Some dogs just kind of sit in your lap, but she's always trying to find the perfect position. Does she need a lot of exercise in the morning?
Yeah, she does need some good amount of exercise. So, if you walk a lot, or you have a big yard that you can play catch in, that would be the best place for her. Maybe some older kids that are active would be good as well.
now, if I could just interject, Mike was a dog handler for the U.S. Army. Mm-hmm. And so we're blessed, very much blessed to have him on board with us. I'll say I've seen this guy take a dog similar to her, who he now has home. So he's already fallen victim to the foster, I'll take her home and see how it works out business. Now she's home with her. She's home with him. But I've seen him take a dog similar to her, and within a couple weeks having that dog walk at heel, sit, stay, down, the whole works.
Try to do it all.
So, the dogs are amazing, but Mike's pretty amazing himself. So we're blessed to have him. But we do have an amazing staff, amazing volunteers. We could always use more. But anyways, I want to give it back to Mike, because I want him to explain to the public just the fact that any dog can be trained. It's the owners that have to be trained.
Yeah, Mike, sure. Like it seems like a lot of work, but pretty rewarding work too.
Oh yeah, it's very rewarding, and it's a lot of work, but it's not a lot of hard work. It's a lot of fun work. You know, anybody that gets a dog from our shelter, you know, obviously I'll work with them, make sure that the transition into the home works well, and give them some training tips and tell them how I've been doing with the dogs. So they're not going to be left on their own. So
Yeah, a lot more stories to tell and a lot more dogs to be seen here at WENY. But for now, Crystal, I'll send it back to you.